What's been your favorite event of bowl week thus far?
The milkshakes.
I think our players enjoyed the go-kart race. We didn't have all of our guys win, but the ones that participated really enjoyed that.
Good to hear. Good to hear. All right, guys, let's go ahead and open it up to questions.
Obviously, you guys both very similar programs right now. The statistics are uncanny, 9 wins, all that stuff. In order to get over the mountain and win this game, this is for both of you guys, and get that 10th win, how meaningful is that to just cap the season in such a positive light?
Okay, let me talk a minute. It's probably more meaningful to us because we've only had one 10-win season in the history of our school. Florida State has a bunch of them. And in fact, we were talking to Coach Bowden, 14 years there, they, I think, won at least 10 every year when they were 4th in the nation or better. So anyway, yeah, it'd be neat for us to do that. But we're still going to go recruiting. We're still going to do everything in the off season. Hopefully, pretty much the same, regardless of the outcome. But it'd be neat for us. I'm sure it'd be neat for them too.
To get not only get the 10th win, but to be able to carry some momentum into the off season. The last 3 years hadn't really been that case.
Yeah, our bowl record hadn't been all that good in the last 5-6 years there. Well, since I've been there anyway, I think we're 1-3 for some reason. But this game will stand on its own merit. A team that plays well, plays with very few errors and so forth, makes some big plays, of course, would most likely be the winner. So that's all we're trying to do is concentrate, play our best, and then see what happens. No, I can't really sense what's going to happen. As coaches, we probably do about the same thing every week, trying to get them ready to play. And some weeks seem like we play a lot better, or for whatever reason, we don't have the magic answer. While one week you play extremely well compared to the next. But we practiced about like we have all year. We practiced about like we did the week of the Alabama game and also the week of the Auburn game. So how it goes, we just got to wait and find out. This year, Patrick DeMarco, Cliff Matthews, Spencer Lanning, our kicker, all those guys have really been good. Brian Maddox. So the next year's team, who will the senior leaders be, we'll just have to sort of wait and see. But obviously, when you have a real good year, you need those guys to step forward and sort of get the attention of the rest of the team. So we'll see how the leadership evolves going into next year.
Last game for you?
Yeah, they've done a good job. Yeah, there's some really good quality class young men, like I've mentioned, and yeah, they're going to have a spot. We've done some things for the first time there, as far as winning the Eastern Division and so forth. So they'll have a place in the history books there in South Carolina anyway. We don't have many championships, as we all know. So the Eastern Division is one that all those guys can certainly keep forever. Looking back, when you have a month off, sometimes one team, for some reason, gets a little bit better. Maybe the other team doesn't. I know they used to have those Super Bowls 2 weeks apart, and they decided let's just have it a week apart because something happens in 2 weeks. So, for whatever reason, when you have about a month off, teams can change a little bit. Chick-fil-A does a super job, but not only with this bowl game, but they have the preseason game, the golf tournament in May. They're a major player in college football, Chick-fil-A. So this week has been as good as any I've been fortunate to be involved in, and I think our players have enjoyed it. And of course, the team that wins the game, they will have enjoyed the week a lot more than the other team. Simple as that. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Florida probably had a little bit more resources in South Carolina when we first got there. But Eric Hammond, our athletic director, the Gamecock boosters, the facilities there are now in South Carolina just about even with all the top schools in the conference, and they were not like that before. So we made a lot of progress, and again, I've said all along, I think our strongest teams are still down the road. I believe we have the ability to really recruit the top kids, not only in our state, but surrounding states also, with the facility improvement that's there now. So it's been a good year progress-wise, and we're not a senior-dominated team at all either. So hopefully we can keep building, heading in the right direction.
In previous years, was it a big problem to have, just a divisive team? Did you have a big problem with that in previous years?
No, not really. Not really. Just, some guys are more team-oriented than others, and I think we're getting a better group of athletes at South Carolina because so many of them have come from good high school programs, and a lot of them play on state championship teams in high school. So when you get those guys that know the commitment level that it takes, it's a lot easier for the coaches. They actually always tell us don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Really, I don't really have an opinion on it that much. I really don't.
I don't know enough about the whole situation. I haven't studied the whole situation, know why they haven't done it. And hey, they're the boss, and we do what they say.
Okay, next questions? Right up here.
Steve, during bowl practice, Steven Garcia said he was watching way more film this year for the bowl game during his time down, during his time off. He was watching a ton more film. Have you seen a difference of his concentration? Have you seen a difference in him on the field during practice for this bowl?
For this bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably practiced better, but he's played better this year, and he should if he's going to play well. This is his fourth year there, and he's got one more left, so he should play better next year if he continues working, not just watching tape, but working on his fundamentals, throwing the ball, head position, all that kind of stuff. So he's been here a while. He does have some talent. His decision making could get a little better. Sometimes his throws could get a little bit better. So he's, he can improve a lot, but he's played well. He's played very well this year.
You think a bowl game like this, the bowl system in general, could coexist with some kind of playoff system?
Coexist? I guess we got to wait and see if that ever happens. I've sort of been in between. At one time, I thought we ought to get 8 teams to play it down, and some years, if there are 3 or 4 undefeateds, that probably would be the most fair way to do it. But this is the closest way to get the 2 top teams in the game. So that's how we do it. Oh, we're not beaten down. No, we've not tackled each other. I don't think anybody's got hurt in practice. But we try to bump heads a little bit every year. Maybe we've done a little bit more this bowl practice. But it comes down to how our guys play tomorrow night, really. I mean, you can go light, you can go heavy. We all try different ways, whatever works that week or so forth. But there's no magic answer preparation-wise on how to do it that we know about. So you just got to do the best you can and say, guys, go play. We'll try to hopefully give you some ball plays that work, and you make them work. Coaches said they both can play, and they both can run around. So they both can throw very well. So, yeah, I don't think you change much when you got two guys that can do both. So they're 2 talented quarterbacks.
Okay, back here in the front, please.
Jimbo, have you ever thought about every other play like we did it?
I'm
You're not into that yet.
I got no problem with one.
Yeah. It works about one game. It doesn't work after that, yeah. One game will work occasionally, and then after that, Florida had that 3 quarterback system going, and that worked, I think, one game. And then after that, it didn't work very well. Yeah.
Challenge will this be for him just to play like you want him to play?
Yes, well, it's a challenge for him to have a good bowl game. He's not played very well. In fact, he hadn't lasted. Well, he did last the one last year because we had no one else to put in, I guess. But he hasn't played very well in the bowl games, and our offense hadn't played very well either, the whole team. So he's looking forward to it. I think trying to show he can play in a bowl game. So I think he's ready to play well.
This year's bowl preparation and their commitment level and that they really do want to come out with the 10 wins this season?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. I don't know how to answer that. We practice pretty well, but we got to go play the game tomorrow night. You know, Florida State, their guys have practiced well too. I mean, it's we got to really play. We got to really play well to win almost any game we play, and so whether or not we can do that, we're going to find out. But that's the plan: is to play well, and that'll give us a chance.
Steve, what do you think has been the bigger reason for this year's breakthrough season? Better athletes or the better attitudes that we were talking about?
I thought you were going to say better coaching, but just kidding. No, we do have better athletes at South Carolina now. We really do, and the guys, the games we won, played extremely well. Made a bunch of third downs, no turnovers against Clemson or Florida. Only one against Alabama that ended up not hurting us. You know, guys scored touchdowns, didn't have to kick a bunch of field goals, things like that. I mean, the Alabama game, I don't know how we could have played hardly any better. I think we had 10 possessions and scored, or eight total possessions about in the game, scored 5 touchdowns somehow to get 35 points. And that was just, you know, gee, it doesn't happen like that all the time. So you hope it does. But anyway, that was a game that we played extremely well. So we try to get back to that. We didn't do very well against Auburn, as you know. They scored about 7 out of 10 possessions on us. And so we got to play well if we're going to have a chance. Oh, they had tremendous teams and athletes through the 90s, and they're getting back that way now. They're pretty close to those teams they had. But we had good players too at Florida back then, so it was usually a fairly even tussle when we played those guys. They had a lot of good players. I couldn't name all of them right now.
All right, time for a couple more, guys.